So in this video, what I want to do is focus on layers because the way that you work with layers is part of your design process. And if we want to copy these objects that I created here onto another layer, it's a bit more complicated than just cutting and pasting. Okay, so using multiple layers is part of your design process because you can use it as a way to iterate a lot of variations in the design. And this is one of the things that you're going to be learning how to do in this project. So the geometry that I've got here, okay, don't think of this as design. This is just a demonstration. I didn't put any thought into what I did. I'm using it as a demonstration for how you work in Rhino. It's not a demonstration of good design or bad design. So you'll notice that the information for the layers is in the top right, and there's a default layer. So if you don't change the layers at all, everything will go on the default and it's colored black, and you don't want to do that. So you want to start using layers in a more creative way. If you want to change the name of a layer, you can double click on it and you just type in the layer, the name that you want, and you can name them anything. And then if you want to move layers up and down, you can just use those arrows. You can take that layer and move it anywhere you want. And this is why the numbers are all out of order. Okay. And then we have the light bulb icon to see what's on the layer, and we have the lock icon. You can lock and unlock layers. Pretty standard stuff. So let's look at how you would copy these objects and then put them into another layer. And the way we have to do that is there's a few steps. So if we go to Edit, Layers, okay? So on the Edit menu at the top of the screen, you're going to see Edit, and then Layers has a bunch of things. And the command we're going to use is Copy Objects to Layer. And remember that the command line is going to explain to us how this all works. So we click on that, and if you remember from the previous video, we've got the command line up here. Select objects to copy to new layer. So I'm going to take that one. And another thing that's happening here, on the default layer, there's two of those objects, those poly surfaces, there's two of them. I'm just going to take the top one. And this happens a lot. Very often, it happens without you realizing that you've got more than one object, and you can either delete them or not delete them, but you just need to be aware of that when you're selecting them. It can get complicated. And also remember that with the command line, it asks you what to do, and then you're always pressing enter when you're done, because that moves you to the next step. Okay. Select objects to copy to new layer. Select objects to copy to new layer. I'm going to select that one and this one. Press enter when done. And what's going to come up is what layer do I want to copy it to? So I'm going to go to the red one, another layer. Okay. So if I want to look at that, I have to set it to the current layer. Okay. So that's another thing that is unique to Rhino. So another layer is the name of that layer. If I want to look at what's happening and if I want to edit layer 3, I have to do set current. And you see that little check mark went onto that blue layer. Okay, because I've got the same geometry on layer 3. So I go back to another layer and I say set current, turn that one off. Another layer is red, and so this is how you can cut and paste objects, geometry that you're creating from one layer to another. And then if you lock down all the layers that you're not editing, and if I go into layer 3 and I set to the current layer, now I can change it up. Let's say I'm going to change this one. I want to do something different. Maybe I want to cut it, maybe I want to bend it, maybe I want to delete it, but basically it's only going to happen on this layer. Okay, so when I deleted the blue one, I'm still seeing the one from the red layer because I didn't turn that layer off. So you can play around with layers and use them in your design, and it can be like a really effective design tool for iterative design.